Olivia the rabbit is the class bully and the meanest kid in the 3rd grade. Olivia doesn't have any friends, but she likes it that way.
Nobody knew why, but Olivia's favorite things to do in school were making fun of her classmates, stealing their lunches and playing pranks on the teacher.
During recess one day, Olivia was bored and didn't want to play outside anymore. She decided to go back into school and play alone in her classroom. Olivia walked into her classroom and saw the most beautiful big red apple that she had ever seen sitting on the teacher's desk. It looked so delicious that she just had to have it, even though it didn't belong to her. Slowly she creeped towards the teacher's desk, making sure to keep those big rabbit ears turned towards the hallway to listen for anyone coming. Olivia was going to have that apple and nobody would ever know it was her.
Olivia was so intent on the apple that she didn't hear the teacher coming. The teacher walked into the classroom, and was surprised to find Olivia near her desk with something in her hand. "Olivia, dear, what are you doing in here?" the teacher asked. Olivia quickly put the apple behind her back. "I just got tired. I want to come in for lunch time early," Olivia lied. "Lunchtime isn't for another hour. What are you hiding behind your back?" the teacher asked. "Nothing," Olivia lied again. "Is that my apple behind your back?" the teacher asked. Olivia knew she had been busted. "Oh my, stealing is serious, and not being truthful about it, it makes it even worse. I'm afraid we'll have to bring your parents in for a meeting with the principal," explained to the teacher.
Mom and Dad were called in to meet with the principal. Though the principal's office door was closed, Olivia could hear the muffled sounds of the grown-ups talking. She thought she could make out her mom's voice specifically, and she didn't sound happy. Olivia knew that she was in trouble this time.
Olivia stayed home from school for a whole week as punishment. If that wasn't enough, she was grounded at home too. She had to stay in the house and all her favorite toys and games were taken away. All the other kids were outside riding their bikes, running through the sprinkler, playing hopscotch, all the things that Olivia wouldn't be doing for at least a week. Olivia was miserable. This was going to be a week. Olivia was mad, mostly at her parents and the principal for punishing her. She flew up the stairs to her bedroom, slammed the door, and threw herself down onto her bed for a good cry. Just then, she looked out her bedroom window and noticed a funny-looking kid playing in the yard next door. He was kind of chunky with black and white fur. Nobody lived in the house next door, as far as she knew. So what was he doing there?
Olivia yelled out her bedroom window. "Hey kid, what are you doing over there? You're not supposed to be over there." The kid yelled back, "My name is Oreo and I live here. We just moved in. Who are you?" Oreo asked. Olivia answered, "My name is Olivia." "What are you doing inside up in the window on a day like today?" Oreo asked. "Stuck here for a week, 'cause I got grounded," Olivia answered.
Well, that stinks, Oreo said. What'd you do to get grounded? I pulled pranks on my teacher at school and stole her apple, Olivia admitted. Guess that wasn't a good thing to do, Oreo said. Yeah, I guess not, Olivia said. Now I'm stuck here for a week. No school, no outside, no fun, no nothing. Oh, maybe I can cheer you up, Oreo said. Do you like balloon animals, he asked. Yeah, Olivia answered. What's your favorite animal, Oreo asked. I like birds, Olivia responded. Oreo proceeded to pull a small balloon out of his pocket. He stretched it out and blew it up until it was taller than Olivia. Then he twisted and pulled and wrapped and folded and all kinds of stuff until it looked like the most beautiful bird that Olivia had ever seen. Here you go, Oreo said. Something to make you feel better. Wow, thanks, Olivia said, surprised that someone she just met would do something that nice for her.
All the next week when school was done for the day, Oreo would run into his backyard to keep Olivia company through the second floor window. Oreo told Olivia stories about the places that he had lived before, as his family moved quite often. They talked about what happened at school that day. Is this what it feels like to have a friend? Olivia thought to herself.
A week had passed and Olivia was ready to head back to school. Things were a little different with Olivia. She was actually looking forward to returning and seeing her new friend Oreo close up.
Olivia entered the classroom and was very surprised at what she saw. There was her friend Oreo, but he didn't look very happy. Some kids in the class were making fun of Oreo. They were making fun of his name and that he had funny black and white fur. They were even making fun of the way he talked. Oreo was very angry that the other kids were making fun of her friend. Then, all of a sudden, she thought back to all the times she was not so nice to others. Is that how I look when I'm not being nice? She thought to herself. Olivia felt badly for all the times she acted like her classmates were acting now. Olivia couldn't do anything to change the bad things from the past, but she could change the future. She would start with her new friend.
Hey you guys, Olivia said. Bullying others isn't nice and the wrong thing to do, and I should know. I'm sorry for bullying you guys. The other kids were so surprised that Olivia was being nice, and they stopped making fun of Oreo. They all just stared at Olivia. Olivia explained, if there was one thing that I learned being grounded for a week, it's that friends are important. They help you through things, and everyone is different, and that's great. Hey Oreo, Olivia said, show them that funny thing you can do with your ears.
Okay, Olivia, Oreo said. Hey guys, check this out. Oreo began wiggling his ears in all different directions. The kids thought this was the funniest thing they had ever seen, and they laughed and laughed. Olivia laughed too. It was fun having friends. Oreo then pulled a long balloon out of his pocket, blew it up, and created an awesome balloon giraffe. The kids, like Olivia, quickly figured out that Oreo was a very cool kid and interesting.
That day, and many other days after, Olivia and Oreo and all the other kids sat together at lunch. Oreo told stories, and they all became great friends. Olivia learned a lesson that day that would stay with her forever. The end.